Hello, welcome back to my channel Lomzy Sews. In today's sewing tutorial, I will show you how to cut and sew this simple jacket. It's like a kimono jacket. If this is what you would like to learn, make sure not to skip any part of this video. To make this, I'm going to use 3.5 yards of Ankara fabric, and I'm going to be using lining for this. So first we are going to be drafting this on our pattern paper. I'm going to square out a line. This line is going to be the shoulder line, and that's where I'm going to take all the vertical measurements. So first I'm going to take the shoulder to the armhole and shoulder to the waistline. I'll go ahead and square that out. For the armhole length I'm using 10 inches, and for the waistline I'm using 17 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and square these two lines out. Next, from the waistline I'm going to come down to the hip line 8.5 inches and mark it. Also from the waistline I'm going to go down to the length of the jacket, which is also length of skirt for me. That's how I like to take it. So for mine I did 25 inches. I'm going to go ahead and square that line out. So maybe if you take it from the shoulder to the final length, it should be like 42 inches. So next I'm going to do shoulder divided by 2, and I'm going to mark that out. Here I'm using 8.5 inches. I'll go ahead and square that, and I'm going to come down 1.5 inches for my shoulder slope. And for the neck width I'm going to be using 3 inches. I'll go ahead and connect the shoulder line like so. Next I'm going to mark the bust divided by 4 plus 1.5 inches for ease. And on the waistline I'm going to make waist divided by 4 plus 2.5. On the hip line I'm going to make hip divided by 4 plus 2.5. I'll go ahead and connect this line. And also for the hemline I'm going to drop whatever I have on the hips at the hemline. Now for the bust point I made it 2.5, but I realized that later and corrected it. So after marking the shape I noticed it was too big at the bust point, so I reduced that, making it bust divided by 4 plus 1.5. So I'm going to connect it like this. And this is ready for the side seam. The neck point I came down by 0.75 and marked that. And for the armhole, I'm drawing the armhole curve. I'm going to get the midpoint, and with that I'm going to draw the back armhole curve. For the front armhole curve I'm going to draw that when I'm drafting the front pattern. So the back is ready. I'll use this to cut out the front. To draft the front I've added 6 inches and also 6 inches up. So next I'm going to mark the armhole curve for the back, for the front. So I came in ½ inch, and I'm going to connect this line like so. And also for the front neckline I'm going to come down from the shoulder line. I'm going to come down 4 inches. So come down from the shoulder line 4 inches and mark it. I'll square this line out. I'm not going to mark the full neckline curve for the front. I'm just going to square this line like this and connect it to the shoulder line like that with a broken line. So from the neck width I'm going to come up 0.5 inches and mark it. Now I'm going to mark the final neckline. So from here I'm going to connect it to that 1.5 inches and connect this to the front like this. So with this I have the neckline. I'm going to mark the river, so you can come down or come up, any design you want for the lapel. I came up 1 inch and I'm marking the width as 3.5 inches. So I'm going to connect this to the waistline like this. For the shape of the lapel, you can decide to also maintain the neckline width. You can decide to come down a bit anyhow you want it to be. So this is it for me. I'm done with the front bodies of the jacket. Now I'm going to go over to the collar. So to make the collar, I'll come in here from the shoulder line 1/2 inch and connect it to this line and extend it up. So I'm going to do that with a broken line like this. And then from here I'm going to measure the neckline of the back. So whatever the neckline of the back is, you're going to impute that to the extended line. So from the shoulder here, I got 3.5. I'm going to extend it by 3.5 and also square this line like so. Next, I'm going to measure 3.5 inches. It depends on how you want this. When you are making this, you check it and know what you have. And I'm going to come up here 1/2 inch and connect this like so. And I'm going to go ahead and connect this with my curve ruler. Remember, this is to your preference. Whenever you're done, you check the collar how you want it. If it comes out very nice, you maintain it like that. So I'm going to trace that out and trace the bodies off. So this is the collar unfold. These are all my pattern pieces, as you can see. I went ahead and traced another pattern, and this will be for the lining because I want it to be 2-piece. So I'm going to mark this line like this. For the lining, I'm making it 2-piece. So this is going to be the main fabric and this is going to be the lining fabric. So I'm going to cut it into 2 so that it will be easier for me to cut it on my fabric. That's the essence why I'm actually separating the patterns, else I would have left it like that. Next, we're going to cut out the sleeve. So to cut the sleeve, I'm going to take the measurement of the back armhole curve. So take the measurement because that's what you're going to use to make the sleeve. So next, I'm going to grab another pattern paper for the sleeve. I'm going to go ahead and mark the length of the sleeve head. I'm going to come down 5 inches for the sleeve head, and then I'm going to mark the sleeve length minus 1 inch and go ahead and mark that. So I'm trying to square that out. I also marked the length of my elbow, so I'll go ahead and square these lines out. Remember, I said the length of the sleeve minus 1 inch. That is because I'm going to add it when I'm going to be making the dress. So here I have marked what I got from the armhole curve and I'm connecting it like so. I mark the midpoint. Here I'm going to connect this like this, touching that line and go under like that. I have a tutorial on how to make a 1-piece sleeve. If you want to, you can check that out. And on the elbow line, I'm going to mark the elbow plus 1 inch. Also, same thing at the wrist. I'm going to connect these lines like so. I'm done making the sleeve. I'll go ahead and cut that out. With this, I'm done cutting all the patterns, the bodice, the sleeve, the collar and everything. But I'm also going to go ahead and perform one more step at the back. For the back to sit properly, at the waistline I'm going to remove 1 inch, and that's what I'm trying to cut out here. So after I'm done cutting this out, I'm going to cut all my patterns pieces on my fabric. So these are my patterns. This is the back. I've cut out the lining piece, the main fabric, as you can see. So for the back, I'm going to close the back, and also this is the front. I've added all the sewing allowances, and this is the front. you can see I cut out with the main fabric and the lining piece. So I'll go ahead and join all of this and also hem the lower part of all of them. This is also the sleeve. I'll also hem the lower part, the lower side. I added 2 inches at the main fabric, the hem of the main fabric. So I'm going to go ahead and sew this and top stitch it. I'll do this to all the pattern pieces. So this is the collar. I'm going to sew this starting from the notched area here and sew 1/2 inch all around and stop there. So this is it, and I've also hemmed all my pattern pieces, the front, the back, the sleeve, all are ready. Next is for me to couple this. For me to do that, first I'm going to sew the shoulder. So I'm going to sew it shoulder, fabric to fabric, lining to lining. So this is the main fabric. I'm going to place the main fabric on it and sew the shoulder. After I'm done sewing the main fabric, I'll go ahead and also join the shoulder of the lining. This is it after joining it, as you can see. Next, I'm going to join the collar. Watch what I'm going to do. For the collar, I'm going to just join it to the main fabric only, just the main fabric. So you're going to place this like this. When you get to your machine, you turn your needle that way, turn it round, and you're done with the neckline. This is it after sewing it. So next, I'm going to use the lining to turn the neckline. So you turn it over like this, and you're going to sew it just the same way you sewed the first one. You're going to use the lining to close the neckline. This is it after I was done sewing it. Can you see? Next thing is for us to sew the sleeve. Also the same thing, you will go to your machine, you're just going to pin it down. So I'm going to pin down fabric to fabric and then lining to lining, and I'll go to my machine and sew that. So I'm going to join them separately, lining to lining, fabric to fabric. This is it after joining it. I'm going to go ahead and join the side seam. So you're going to hold it like this, join the side seam of the 2 sides, and you leave one side opening. That's where you're going to be bringing out the dress. Can you see? I have the opening on one side of the side seam, and that is where I'm bringing out all the clothes. Make sure at every step you're sewing this jacket, you are ironing it. Very, very important. Any step you take, iron it. Is very important. So this is it after I was done sewing it. Guys, we have actually finished coupling this jacket. It's very simple. All you need to do is to put your mind to it. If this is your first time coming across my channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on your notification bell icon, and give this video a thumbs up. You see the opening? I'm going to go ahead and sew it. So guys, I have actually come to the end of today's sewing tutorial. If this was helpful, let me know in the comment section, and if you don't understand anything, also let me know in the comment section, and I will appreciate if you let me know where you're watching me from. Yeah guys, so I'll see you guys in my next video. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notification bell icon.